You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
What happened?
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely. I was
with this person after the first 2 months of being with her.
I always talk about date your age, date your age. Well, I want to date my wage.
Mr. Shannon Sharpe, who announced yesterday that he would be stepping away from ESPN and ESPN's First Take, my daytime job, at least until the NFL preseason sometime later on this summer. As you may recall, a lawsuit was filed against Shannon on Sunday by a woman using the name Jane Doe, or using a Jane Doe pseudonym. The 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada alleged that Shannon Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Shannon and his attorneys responded with evidence of the relationship being, quote unquote, consensual.
She come to me and I was like, damn, babe, why you didn't tell me you had OnlyFans? She's like, I'm sorry, Shannon, because I know you're going to be upset. And you know, but here's my last month check. I look down at that thing say 20,000. I don't know who you have filming, but I'm in charge now.
I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Well, what, Gabby?
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
I might choke you in public. Big black guy chose small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what they think you did to me.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly, on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
I always talk about date your age, date your age. Well, I want to date my...
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Today we're going to discuss the new moon, which is taking place today. Today is Sunday, April 27th. And yeah, I just wanted to take some time to discuss this. Uh, we will continue our sacrament series next week. My plan was to do this video yesterday, but the kids was in the house, and when the kids is around, it ain't really nothing going on besides them, which makes sense. But at the same time, I be having to figure out how to do this type of stuff. But with all of that being said, maybe I'll come back again tonight with the sacrament series. It just depends on how I feel. I have 3 readings tonight and 5 kids, so just super excited for the day. So that's why I'm just up early, getting to it, and really want to discuss this new moon energy, because every year, I get into this Aries energy. Last year, the new moon was in Aries and it was a solar eclipse, but it was in the first decan of Aries. It was in Ashwani. This year, it is in the second decan of Aries, and it is in the Barani Nakshatra. So if you ever wanted to read up on Aries energy, you could go to my Substack and search for new moon in Aries. The solar eclipse video will pop up, and you'll be able to read that. And it was informative and good to read. And when it was a good reference for this particular article that I just put out a couple of days ago on my Substack. So that's a very cool feature on the site where you can just search up old articles. I've been on Substack now for about a year and a half. So that I've now compiled enough articles on there to whereas we can now reference previous celestial occurrences. And then a lot of times I do referenceable work, meaning that it's a section in that new moon or in that solar eclipse where it's just talking about Aries energy. And I touched on it in that article, but in this recent article, I got deeper into the subject of Aries. So if you're able to see on this slide next to me, which of course will work through a slideshow, work through a presentation. I like getting on YouTube and just learning about information and teaching about information. That's pretty much the bones, the meat and potatoes with me. A lot of times people get so caught up into this YouTube space, but really anybody can start a YouTube. Anybody can upload videos, go live, just get on this bitch and yap to your heart's content, which is cool if that's what you into. But me, I like to have a focus, skill set, and understanding. So generally on this channel, we're going to talk about spiritual things. We're going to talk about astrological things. And the reason that I talk about current events is because I want to relate the spiritual, astrological, metaphysical to what's going on in the world today, because whether you know it or not, it is all connected. When we put ourselves into different groups, into different thought spaces where we are isolated in our spiritual development, in our personal lives, in our community, what that is called is an echo chamber, and it doesn't allow for new information to seep through. My life, my work is all about integrating new information, new people, new experiences, and just realizing that I'm on a spinning rock floating through space and nobody knows exactly what's going on. So to understand what possibly could be going on, we study ourselves. And that brings us to a new moon in Aries, which is a time that you could get so passionate about, where you can get so, it's like one of the best experiences collectively that a human being could experience, because it represents spring. And spring represents a different energy outside of winter, where winter, you damn near starved. It was cold every day. You had to wear triple layers, and you thinking that the world is going to end. And now comes spring. And spring happens every year in this particular hemisphere. But when we understand and understand that Western astrology can never be valid, because they said that they cultivated Western astrology in the Eastern hemisphere, meaning that in the other hemisphere, this isn't spring, this is actually the onset of fall leading into winter. Now, what we are then talking about with sidereal astrology and medical astrology is the human body. So, thus, we are talking about the metaphysical spring. And what is the metaphysical spring? It is the female reproductive system, which has an innate ability to create, an innate ability to cultivate. And if you are a divine feminine, and if you are a woman, or if you are a man that is whole, that has have cultivated his divine feminine, you have the innate ability to create. The female reproductive system, the yoni, the vesica piscis, and the womb are the dominion of creation. So when we look at a new moon in Aries, we are in the domain of creating our life, and this has to be broken down. It has to be broken all the way down. It is like a treasure chest, and in order to get the treasure, you have to break through every lock, every wall, every dimension, or you'll never get the treasure. There could be a very rich man, a very accomplished man, a very successful man, a man that owns buildings in New York City, and still submits to the yoni, the vesica piscis, and the womb. If you don't fully understand this as a divine feminine or a divine masculine, you will be outside of the game. So we are going to bring it back to, if you are a regular on this channel, there is a familiar metaphor in reference to understanding the soul, and that is going in the house. So the domain of creation is in the kitchen. If you don't get in the house, you cannot get into the kitchen. No matter what you do on the external world, no matter how many things you do on the external world, if you want to fully create, you have to get to the kitchen. Now, this is an analogy, and you have to be visual, and you have to begin to understand metaphysical concepts. You have to understand the definition of metaphysics, which is the truth beyond the physical. Meta means to transcend or go beyond the physical. The yoni, the vesica piscis, the womb, is beyond the physical. It is beyond consciousness. Now we have to begin to understand this in reality, or we will be, Aries energy will escape us. Because it's like beyond the physical hood, that's very deep. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, when you were a baby, you were not conscious, but you were alive. You ate every day. You were loved. You were taken care of in a way that now that you are conscious, nobody is holding you. Nobody is kissing you. Nobody is taking care of you. Why? Because ever since you've been conscious, you have created an alternative to what you've naturally been accustomed to. And I'm being so general because the general person, up to a point where he becomes conscious, have been cultivated into that consciousness. And thus, once they gain their consciousness, they are in control. And for a lot of people, you've been creating your life since you was 7 years old through your mentality, through wanting to share with little girls and little boys. You couldn't you was in 11 you was 11 years old. You ain't have to punch your little sister. You just want to punch her. You've been creating yourself ever since you was a child. And the reality is, when you want somebody to feel sorry for you, when you want somebody to like understand, you got to begin to understand that you are such a powerful God that only you can help yourself. So in understanding women who have the outer feminine design, and then understanding men who have the inner feminine design, the part of the game that nobody talks about. So once you begin to cultivate your inner, the lover that you desire has no choice but to enter into your domain, because men are masters of the anima. Women are masters of the animus. But when you understand this power dynamic, is that nobody is better than the other, but the masculine is hidden within the woman and the feminine is hidden within the man, we will then begin to tap into our energy. We will then begin to unite with our lovers, because there is no way I can do this alone. Even to the point of creating a child requires a masculine spark. This power of design is given to women at an internal level. So the yoni, the vesica piscis in the womb, is why a man will own buildings, why a man will go to the NBA, drop 30 a night, get 10 rebounds, 15 assists. To be in unison with a divine feminine energy. But the reality of it is, if you do not cultivate this particular creatrix energy, you get girls that use you and abuse you. You get men that use you and abuse you because you have not cultivated this energy at an internal level. Your life is full of strife and toil because you have not cultivated and created from an internal level, because you have not done the spiritual work. Finding a relationship is a spiritual endeavor. Making money is a spiritual endeavor. When you want to have a breakthrough in your life, you ain't supposed to hustle bustle. When you want a breakthrough in life, you must go within yourself. You must shut the doors. You must close the blinds, sit in darkness, understand what your soul has to say. This is Aries energy. This is the seed energy. This is when you are being carried in your mother's arms. This is when you're 7 years old and you have to plan the rest of your life. And if you don't begin planning your life at 7 years old, you going to more likely just be a worker. You know, everything you do in your life, especially if you got a job, you're not at that job because you are expressing your highest good. Motherfuckers is looking at you, evaluating you, and you could go in there and do the best that you could do. If it don't meet their standards, it's not good enough. You didn't create that reality for yourself. You didn't create the reality for yourself, and you just allowed yourself to fall into this. So what I mean is, when we have children and we say, oh, he's just a kid, oh, she's just a baby, oh, she'll grow out of it, and then you get into a relationship with an ain't shit ass nigga, you got to start to understand the dots. And then when you raising your own children, we talking about cultivating a relationship with your soul, being able to meditate, being able to clear your mind, being able to not be so bound to the physical. Men are jealous because they have to work they have to work to reach a level women exceed naturally. So Shannon Sharp probably not going to see this video. Kanye West not going to see this video. Will Smith may not see this video. But the best man in the world is equivalent to Shaniqua from around the corner. I'm talking about most impressive. And that's the crazy part with the feminist movement, where it tricks women into wanting to be like men. That's like me wanting to be like trying to be a kindergartner again, like really applying myself. And then imagine the frustration when I'm in kindergarten for the rest of my life. One's in the chat if that makes sense. Because the divine feminine has to come to grips with this reality. You got to have real conversations in reference to your power. Chicks be telling me how much they be working. And then I say, well, what if you found a dude that liked you for the money that you make? No, I wouldn't like that hood. What are you cultivating in your day to day that makes you powerful? Money, working at your job is making you more powerful, or is it making you more self-reliant? Is it making you more harder? So if we really want to get into a new moon in Aries, which is the seed, the direction for the rest of the year, many people going to look at this, and many people are not going to hear this because, you know, many people just be feeling like Miley Cyrus, coming in like wrecking balls, day-to-day life. I need a job, I need money, I'm so stressed out, my pH balance is off, I haven't meditated, I'm just doing this, I'm doing that, I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that. You are in a postmodern world where the only enemy is somebody. Somebody is the enemy, but you sympathize with that enemy. Postmodern world, you could be in a relationship with somebody that you hate and call it love because y'all don't even understand this internal dialogue. Y'all have been taught disconnected from reality. Many people have been taught spirituality on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. That's where people are going to their spirituality. And Lord forbid it resonate with them. They're going to encapsulate it in their whole way of being. Now people wearing the evil eye acting like it's a good amulet. And you can't tell a motherfucker anything different. I love my evil eye hood. What's wrong with an evil eye? It's an evil eye. You ain't got nothing on the external to protect yourself from. How you protecting yourself from the evil on the outside so the evil on the inside can just have free reign? You ain't doing no cultivation work, no psychological work, no metaphysical work, but your ass got an evil eye talking about at least I'm protected. But who is going to protect you from you? Well, at least I got a job, hood. At least I'm making money. Once again, it's more to life than making money. Money is a man-made construct. When you transition out the body, you ain't taking none of the money with you. Meaning has to be manufactured. What means true to you, you have to cultivate that. It ain't, see, but this is the shit though. You enter into the world and they're telling you this means this and this means that, and your ass like, okay, this means this and that means that. If my pants is sagging, I'm cool. No, I can't sag my pants because that's gay. Let me put, like, wait, I mean, we confused here. We don't know what to do because what means what to who. Oh, but if you develop a relationship with yourself and get comfortable within yourself and show up as yourself, you don't have to change. But if you don't understand the cultivation of yourself, your whole life is going to be based on you acclimate. So you dealing with somebody, and every time you deal with somebody, you got to change the person that you is, or you going through people. That's a whole nother conversation. You can't stay in a relationship for a long time because you keep attracting people that cheat on you, people that ain't shit, and all of this type of stuff because you have not done any spiritual work. You have not cultivated that divine masculine to enter into your world. You have done nothing. You have done no divine feminine work to cultivate a woman to treat you well, to love you. You have done nothing but sitting here want to complain about your girl and and all of this stuff all day, every day, as if that's going to be the solution. So when we talking about Aries energy, which we have a new moon and Aries, we are talking about the so basically when you understand the anatomy of the divine feminine, she is born with all of the eggs that she'll ever have in her entire life. And those eggs will transfer into her grandchildren and great grandchildren. Everybody have some aspect of their grandmother and great grandmother. A part of their makeup is called epigenetic inheritance. So the analogy in reference to the eggs is the analogy of saying everything that you need, you already have. Everything that you need, you already have. And so when you are setting an intention from this perspective, looking outward throughout the whole remainder of the year, you might say, I want to attend for more money or more success or more love, and all of these things you have within yourself. Thus, so to understand it, you have life and you have death. That's all you have. When you go to prison, you go. They say you only do 2 days. Your first day and your last day. So life is that same thing. The real of this shit, regardless if you taking herbs, if you getting your yoni steam, if you getting it waxed, if you getting a massage, if you a millionaire, if you 6'2", if you 5'1", the only thing that matters is that you are going to transition one day. You're gonna die. So you better enjoy this motherfucker while you're here. Period, point blank. End of story. If you up in this bitch worried and not energetically or metaphysically understanding the spiritual nature of this reality, you're pretty much cooked. Because it's like you understand the world that you're living in, and you develop a strong peace and a strong connection with the world that you're living in through developing a strong relationship with yourself, with your body. You listen to your body, you follow your body, you feed your body positive things, like you're in this world and you're operating not good, but just in a homeostasis, equilibrium type of way, because you're not needy of anything. You have everything that you'll ever need. Life and death are the same thing. However, understanding your spiritual nature is the immortal side of it. Just think about if you are an ancient being and you are in the dead of winter and you're like, damn, this shit can't get no worse than this. Like, what is going on? It's so cold. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just freezing. I don't got no food, nothing. And then automatically it just start getting hot one day. You like, damn, it's beautiful. Birds start chirping, flowers start blooming immediately. You like, damn. Rabbits start hopping around. You can get food again. You like, damn. Crops start growing and green. You like, damn. I thought it was over. That's just a metaphor for when you transition out the body. Nothing that you're going through in this motherfucker is going to matter. Nothing. But you're going to have an existence in a reality outside of this one. So I'm in the house right now, cars driving by. We in the same world, but we in a whole different reality. That's what your ancestors is like. They exist right now. You can't see them, hear them, touch them, feel them, but you can connect with them through your altar work, through your metaphysical practice. Now, woe to the individual who does not have a connection with their ancestors. You just out here thugging it as an individual. You can't be alive and not have strong ancestors. It's just impossible. Think about all of the things that they had to endure to get to this particular point, which is you. You have everything that you need within you. If you are focused and fixated on what you need, you are outside of the house. Of course you are. Inside of the house, you got food in the refrigerator. Your towels is folded. One's in the chat if it feel good to look in that closet and see them towels folded. You like, all right, I don't need 10 towels, but they there if I do need them. And then you go back the next day, they empty. What part of the game is that? I had a full row of closet of towels and rags. Now it's empty. I don't know what happened. It took a day. Anyways, you have everything you need. So this new moon falls in the second decan of Aries, and this decan of Aries is called the Barani Nakshatra. The Barani is Sanskrit for the yoni, and the yoni carries its two resonances to the yoni, and night and day, life and death, love and death in reference to the yoni. Because we love life and we hate death. But the yoni is that particular gateway. When you are activating your divine feminine, when you are a masculine man, that divine feminine, it will show up as a portal. You will travel down a deep portal, which is a yoni. Let's be clear about this. Yes, brother, you have a yoni, whether you know it or not. When you go deep into yourself and you meditate, you go straight down that hole. And then you will see a goddess. Because within every man is a goddess. That is within the house. If you are outside of the house, if you are lifting weights, if you got money, if you got a nice house, and the girls love you, or the girls hate you, or your wife can't stand you, it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. You must cultivate a relationship with the goddess within through your yoni, which is deep meditation, calming the body down, going within yourself. You will enter a wormhole portal, which will introduce you to a goddess. Now, the goddess Kali is a goddess that is feared on earth, but she is worshipped in the other dimension. When you see goddess Kali, it means that more or less death is approaching. And it's not to be scared. You shouldn't be afraid of death, because being afraid of death does not stop death. And what it does is it creates negative emotions in this world. If you haven't studied metaphysically and you then think about death, you will be broken mentally. You'll be broken emotionally. And then you just keep going as if you're not broken mentally and broken emotionally, because the thought of death, you don't want to fight against it. You don't want to understand it. You don't want to get stronger in this aspect. Because when you do not get stronger in this aspect, you actually think you losing somebody. Man, I lost my dad. Man, I lost my mom. Man, I'm so sad. My grandma. You're not losing anything. It's just going into a new dimension. It's going into a new cycle. How do I know this? How do I know this to be true? Because we enter into a spring every year. The world, thus, is a metaphor for the universe, which is a metaphor for life and death. This is why the ancients studied this ancient knowledge, and I'm just bringing it forward. I didn't invent Kali. I didn't invent the Barani Nakshatra. These are all concepts that when you sit and think about it and you connect the dots and you look at it for long enough, you begin to say, I get it now. We only enter into a new cycle. We only enter into a new experience. That's all we do. So therefore, with this particular, you shouldn't fear a new cycle because you should be used to how new cycles operate. I got to get used to it. The first day going to be a little weird. I'm going to have to be shadowing somebody. Somebody going to be giving me the ropes. I'm going to ask about the breaks. I'm going to ask about when we get paid. You understand? This ain't your first time starting a new job. By the time you in there for like 2 weeks, you feel more comfortable. You got your own little situation set up. You doing your own thing. Reason I bring this to our awareness is because we are not aware of the celestial cycles of the actual ecliptic cycles because we just are caught up in the materialism. Man, I feel so grateful that I'm able to not be so caught up in the material side and I could just observe the cycles so much so that I could begin to share these awarenesses, and who knows who I would be able to help with these particular messages. Because I want you to know that everything you need, you already have. Now we just need to work on your outlook. Because a seed is never the oak tree. It could never grow a branch. It can't have birds fly on it. It's just a seed. So whatever part of your life that exists as a seed or a seedling where it's not fully actualized is fine. It will begin to grow. It will begin to develop. So I just wanted to look at the new moon chart and kind of highlight a particular exact transit that's taking place with the new moon, which is Mars in Cancer opposed Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Mars in Cancer is in the first decan, ruled by love, and Pluto is in the first decan of Capricorn, ruled by change. But the interesting thing about Mars and Pluto is that Mars and Pluto both rule Scorpio. Scorpio's tarot card is the card of death. If you read the Substack article where the link is in the description, I run it all down and I also give you the links so you can begin to do the knowledge on your own time on the importance of understanding Mars and Pluto in Scorpio. So when we discuss death from a metaphysical concept, it is simply the end of a cycle. Death is not the ending in totality. Death is also another word for saying rebirth. When we are understanding Vedic science and Vedic technology, this is not our first lifetime. So since this is not our first lifetime, that means that death is just a different transition into a different reality. Now, when we begin to understand the components of this technology, which is Mars, action, Pluto, transformations overnight, we have to begin to act out of love. The second deacon of Aries is integrity. Integrity is a deep word that needs to be studied and broken down because it is like the deepest love that you have for yourself will create the actions that you need to do, which will create the future for your life. And this cannot be something that you feel like you just need to work every goddamn day. In this world, in this reality, it is not that. In the trauma of being independent, the trauma of not knowing, avidya, ignorance, because you do not know, you will suffer. Because you don't want to know, you will suffer. That's the way it goes. You will never be able to build a house on vibes and feels. Yeah, I just felt like, just going to build it how I feel like building it. It doesn't work like that. So being able to be structured, being able to understand exactly who you are and exactly what you need to do from a psychological level. I cannot stress this enough. You have everything that you need already. It is called epigenetic inheritance. Thus, your meaning, what means you have to manufacture it, you have to cultivate it. Because ultimately, if you're saying this means so much to me because it meant so much to my mama and it meant so, that don't mean that it means so much to you. This means so much to me because my husband, it means so much to him. That don't mean that it means so much to you. That is a horrible life. If the things that mean so much to you, you haven't discovered it internally. And you having a hard time of discovering it internally. Because you so caught up on the money, you so caught up on the survival, you so caught up in the day-to-day, the trauma, the unhealedness, the unprocessed nature of life, the avidya, the ignorance of it. You're comfortable in that space, then you will put no action towards it. You will create no transformation towards it. And this is a very important time. The hardest part of doing this is just knowing that a lot of people won't be able to hear this information. So if you like the video, please like it. If you have the heart to share it, share it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So when you look at the chart, if you will see the sun and the moon and the second decan of Aries on your left corner of the screen, left moving towards the bottom, but not quite towards the bottom, the focal point of the T-square, which is going to be the sun and the moon in the second decan of Aries. The card that rules this particular energy is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is called integrity. And so this energy is enthusiastic and magnetic. The concept of attractive comes to mind. We have been taught that attractive means that this person look good, but that's not attractive. Attractive in the sense of law of attraction, being able to attract things into your life based upon what? Having everything you need already. You don't need to buy nothing to be attractive. You don't need to listen to nothing to be attractive. Attractive is a cultivation of your psychic energy. You don't need to work out and lift a whole bunch of weights. Some of the most ugliest people are people that look good. You'll be in some weird ass situations fucking around with a baddie looking stupid. And you will fuck around with a girl like that because you yourself are not attractive. You will be dealing with all types of weird shit when you're dealing with these dudes that look good. Oh, he looks so good. He looks so handsome. That nigga putting you through hell with his handsome ass. He is not attractive. You are not attractive. Attractive is an inner energy. It is a magnetic pull that you cultivate through spiritual work. That's why Shannon Sharp dealing with this girl, she got a full-fledged pimp the whole time, Shannon. All the money you giving her is going to the pimp, meaning that the girl loved the pimp more than she loved Shannon, who got all of the money, all of the accolades, all of the muscles. He a lame to her because Shannon Sharp is not attractive. Shannon Sharp look good. He got muscles in his neck, in his forehead. He is a very handsome man, but he is not attractive because he's going through shit in his life that he wish he wasn't going through. And he don't know how to solve that motherfucking problem. The worst shit in the world to me is that people who need to hear it don't get to hear it. Because when you just sitting here giving valuable information and you know it, you just want to share that shit. So I'm just like, even before I do this video, I'm like, man, I'm about to just clip all of this shit and just upload it to my other channel because what the hell? Enthusiastic. So 3 of Wands, in that the energy, enthusiasm. Let's talk about enthusiasm. Let's take a break from the slideshow and let's look at the etymology of enthusiasm. Because most people will say, I'm enthusiastic, and just be like on some damn having a manic episode, just happy as hell, right? Like, I'm enthusiastic, hood. What does enthusiastic mean? From the French enthusiasme and directly from the late Latin enthusiasmus, from Greek enthusiasmos, divine inspiration, enthusiasm produced by certain kinds of music, etc. From enthusiasing, to be inspired by a god, be rapt, be in ecstasy. From entheos, divinely inspired, possessed by a god. From entheos, in God. So we got that. Let's now look at the word entheos. Because entheos, right? We got entheos, divinely inspired or possessed by a god. But what else do we have? What else? What other word can we do? What other word can we build off of this? Entheogens. Entheogens are psychoactive substances often used in sacred or spiritual contexts, believed to induce altered states of consciousness that can lead to insights, spiritual experiences, or religious experiences. So some examples of entheogens: ayahuasca, psilocybin, DMT, cannabis, mescaline. See, I thought these was drugs. I thought you could go to jail for this. You could go to jail for this shit. And you got to begin to understand, why can you go to jail for this? Why is these drugs? And why are you just taught to abuse this shit, but not understanding the spiritual process or spiritual modalities around these particular substances? Because this is how you contact God. This is what the churches is doing. This is what the secret societies is doing. This is what the government is doing. And the little old ladies in Peru for centuries. Because the cultivation of the contact of God within you is what you need. And if you haven't contacted your inner wisdom, you probably going to crash out. So the sun being in this second decan, it allows us to be active, optimizing, enterprising, leading to great business and life opportunities if and only if we are connected to our highest good, if we are connected to our higher self, and that is the understanding that I'm trying to bring forth today. Are you connected to your highest good, or are you in survival mode? Do you know right now you in a seed, are you growing to an oak tree or are you growing to a cedar tree? Do you know where you are heading? Or is the emotions and the mental breaking you down? Is the technology breaking you down? Is the workforce is slavery? The invention of the workforce started with slavery. The modern workforce versus plantation life, the enduring shackles of the rat race. So you got to understand the reason that they're going to keep hitting you with these particular slave narratives or slave adjacent narratives is because you comfortable with working and getting paid. You ever got into a nice flow where your job and your paychecks, you just got a nice flow. You comfortable being a slave. The money coming in just the way you want to. Like, what I'm saying is, we could be so comfortable on the external and be so comfortable by not doing no internal work that when it comes to understanding our highest good, it can completely escape us. Like, we don't know what our highest good is. We just know I'm being judged good by these humans. These humans are fucking with me and I don't want to fuck that up. So everything is good. So as I stated in the Three of Wands, well, in the just understanding of the particular energy of the particular new moon, which is ruled by the Three of Wands. And it's a particular energy that most people don't deal with. We're talking about the yoni, we're talking about sex, and we're talking about fire. We're talking about cultivating that inner magnetizing force that is going to bring you closer to good feelings and good vibrations. A man will pay $50,000 for sex. 50,000. It's whole economies based on girls and sex and avidya, and also forced Y'all got to help me understand this. It's some girls in America that want to sell it on the open market. And then there's some girls in foreign countries that get kidnapped and forced to do it under their will. Can't you see how it's crazy for a woman in America to want to sell it? And it's guys. I mean, it's guys that kidnap little babies to then have them be sex trafficked. Don't you think that's an abomination to your whole entire life? Like, you selling it for a couple of dollars and dudes is willing to buy it for a couple of dollars? Shouldn't you cultivate your spiritual self and elevate your energy? Because Pombagira speaks to the sex workers, but the main thing she tells a sex worker is that it is not the sex that you should be getting paid for. It is your energy that you should be not even getting paid for. Just, it is a magnetic attractive force. Nothing can stop it. It's a woman that loves you. It's a man that loves you. If you cultivate that within yourself, the worst part is the person that work all day, every day, and not getting love. I feel for that person because I know everything is just a simulation. It's not real. It's not the real thing, but it's affordable and you worked hard for it. So you're not going to relinquish that. And don't relinquish that, but understand the metaphysical yoni. On this picture, you see a beautiful woman attached to a nerdy dude, and she loved this nerdy ass dude because that's life. You will never be able to control who a woman love. I don't even think that woman can control who she love. It is an innate cultivation. And when you see that man inside of you, and you see that man in real life, just lock in. It'll be fine. But if you do not meditate and you do not do spiritual work, you won't see that man inside of you. If you don't take shrooms, or if you don't take no type of psychoactive substance, or you don't meditate, you don't try to initiate altered states of consciousness, you are not going to see that man inside of you. And now you got to fend for all of the niggas sending you DMs. You got to be on the, imagine you just on the approach, you just hollering at niggas. What part of the game is that? Hey, shawty, you looking good? Like, come on, sis. Do the meditation work. Do the spiritual work. Because once you see them and lock in, it's nothing that's going to hold you back. But y'all are not doing the spiritual work. You do the spiritual work, it works out. Everybody is trying to tell you and tell me how we not going to do it spiritual, and the spiritual shit that you be talking about, hood, is weird. But on the same time, we watching all of these celebrities get sued for millions of dollars, thinking that these little girls actually fucking with them for real. And I'm sure it's a woman that will see Shannon Sharp in her spiritual work that will be of his liking. But it is a simultaneous thing. My wife said she was burning roses before she met me. Guess what I was doing? Burning roses. Rumi has said, and this is a real quote, And the reason I know it's a real quote, because I felt as though I was without my wife. But when Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you, that boy wasn't lying, man. That boy wasn't lying. But this is the cultivation work that we got to really get into within ourselves. We're talking about spiritual alchemy. We're talking about understanding your desires, understanding your capability to crash out, understanding who you are, and not trying to change anything specifically, but learning to accept, learning to be soft, and learning how to get into a state of calm and meditation. I used to think that there was no reason to do and talk about the spiritual sense because it was so simple and so accessible. But with the invention of AI and the onset of technology, it make it impossible for niggas to meditate and do spiritual stuff. So now I'm trying to work very hard to get into a space to do guided meditations in the community. Because doing a guided meditation on the computer is kind of like counterintuitive. I mean, it works, but it's also counterintuitive to being in the same space, breathing in the same air, and not wanting or desiring things from the material world, but cultivating that inner knowledge and that inner sight. Be it enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is realizing that God is within you. That is a vibration. And for as long as I've been on this spiritual path, I've rode the wave of enthusiasm. Entheos. God is within you. God is within you. Just think of all of the possibilities within that particular statement. But if you do not see God within you, if you do not feel God within you, if you do not know for a fact, you have to do the purification work. You have to do the alchemy work. The Sabian symbol for the new moon is at 13 degrees Aries, and the title of that Sabian symbol is Immature Frustration. It is trying to change things hurriedly without due process, and it will always fail. If you don't know the process, it ain't gonna work. But this is why God is so good. Because whatever portal we find ourselves coming out of, we can start over again. We can try again. We know this to be true because every year since we've been born, we've seen the sun rise and we've seen spring manifest. It's never been a day in our lives where the sun hasn't rose. There's never been a year in our lives where the spring haven't come manifest. So we understand these to be truths. And if it didn't work out immediately, this is why we have to do the cultivation work. We have to do the chakra work. Chakra Nova Intensive, available. Is always going to be available. If you missed it this year, take part in it next year. I'm gonna always do it because it's always gonna be cultivation work. And it's like it's more of a need now because the technology is like niggas acting like they got a solution with technology. Or technology make things easier. Yeah, it do, but it also make it harder for you to connect to yourself. So understanding this new moon, we are understanding this new moon in Aries in the Barani Nakshatra, where we all enter into this dimension called Earth. and we all exit out of this dimension called Earth, and we are only here for a short amount of time. Thus, when we are here, we are given everything that we need. We have the blueprint within us. We have to uncover that blueprint, which would be new moon in Aries. Then we have to act on that blueprint, which would be Mars in Cancer. And then we would just have to be patient as it develops into what it's supposed to be. Pluto in Capricorn, rather. This T square requires you to recognize where you are and to recognize what you have. We all have it. That's the key. But most of us have to do more to bring it to surface. So I've been through the journey of cultivating and getting aware of my soul through spiritual work, through meditation, through burning herbs, through ritual, through psychedelics. Like I always used to wonder, like, God, why do I have such a high tolerance? Like I have such a high tolerance for things. Like I always wanted to like get blacked out drunk. Like I just wanted to know what that felt like to just be drinking so much and then just not even know. Like just wake up somewhere like at a train station or something like that. And people would be like, "No, you don't want to experience that. That's crazy." But I will always remain like sort of level and sober, but I'm also understanding that through my microdosing and macrodosing and just this personal path that I'm on, it has been a process of getting acclimated and acquainted with my soul and removing avidya. And the thing about me, Spirit said, we will give you this stuff, but you got to share the knowledge. We will look out for you, Kyrie, but you got to share the knowledge. So that's just what I'm doing. Everything that I'm doing is for to help motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that being said, because the things that I be helping people with is the things that help me because I was in avidya. I was in ignorance, so deep in ignorance. I did not know any of the things that it was not a long time ago either. It is a quickening of knowledge, it is a quickening of activation when you understand it. So that's why I'm just trying to tell this to people and help people along the way. You're only here for a short amount of time. Make sure you feel good every step of the way, right? You ain't gotta fight and argue with your baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? You can find peace in your heart and let that shit go. Because what what does it mean to you to want to fight with your baby dad? And we'll get back to your baby dad in a second. But I want to also bring into the conversation Ecclesiastes 1, which is a book in the Bible, verse 2. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And I'm saying everything does not have meaning inherent to it. Your relationship does not have inherent meaning. If you get a boy that look a certain way or a girl that look a certain way, it's not going to mean what you think is going to mean. And at the advanced level, nothing means nothing. But people don't want to get to that level. So I say at the regular everyday level, what you want it to mean, it'll mean that. But once you get to a point where you get tired of that shit, then you just understand don't nothing mean nothing. This is why God is so powerful. This is why spirituality is such a powerful device and tool for development when you begin to understand it from an ancient point of view, not this new age shit that's trying to get you for every dollar in your bank account. These niggas is demonic, devil, like the worst type of people. You know what I'm saying? That will try to get you for everything. Okay. When we stop grasping for meaning in the things that pass, we awaken to the true meaning, the soul's eternal journey through death and rebirth. So, what does this mean? This means that nothing that's happening in your life is more important than your soul. And if you think that everything that's happening in your life is more important than your soul, then you're going to be in Vidya. But when you get into the knowledge of your soul, the knowledge of your meditation, the knowledge of your wholeness, it's easy. It's easy because you have everything that you'll ever need. So therefore, if it's something on the external to me that means so much to me, then I'm outside of my proper energy. Whatever it is. Somebody have been gaslighting me and manipulating me to make me think that what they have to offer have so much meaning, but they can't even communicate its meaning and like really get it. They just trying to, manipulate you. They trying to sell you on something. It's so much paper floating around that don't mean anything, but it means so much to everybody. Divorce papers, dollar bills, contracts. People lose their shit over these papers, but it's just a piece of paper. And even at your absolute utter worst, you will transition out the body and won't none of this shit matter. So, with all of that being said, New Moon in Aries is about love, accessing deep love. But in order to access deep love, you have to go within yourself and you have to let go of your ego. Your ego is why you single right now. Your fear, your fight or flight, and your lack of spiritual knowledge to cultivate that lover within you, to attract that lover very easy. You don't have to write lists. You don't have to, them fucking long ass paragraph pages you was writing 4 years ago about your perfect man. No, you just have to see him within yourself. You have to see him loving you, and you have to listen to his wisdom on the type of woman that he wants to have love him to. And you need to become that because y'all talk to each other constantly, but you not doing shit. He not doing shit. Y'all both fat as hell watching My 600-Pound Life on the couch, smoking Black and Milds, out of breath, out of shape. So when y'all both actively, energetically begin to do the better work, y'all gonna meet each other at the gym. And it's gonna be a match made in heaven. Cultivation work, we got the New Moon in Aries intention worksheets. The meaning that you want to manufacture in your life is up to you. Nobody gonna create the meaning for your life but you. It's good to manufacture it from a personal level, from a spiritual level, from an emotional level. That's what this worksheet works on. And then it's also a second page for a 2-week follow-up. See how far or how close you are to your intentions. All of this is free because the most important thing for me is that you begin to help yourself in this spiritual community. Well, not even, I don't even know if it's a spiritual community anymore, but I hope that you find peace within yourself through your spiritual development. We do have the tools at whiterabbitpsych.com. It is April 27th. That means that there's only 4 more days to our 20% off, 25% off sale off the whole store. So tap in, whiterabbitpsych.com, and understand that these videos take hours out of my day. And the whole purpose of me bringing these videos is to
hopefully help somebody along their spiritual journey. So please load up the collection plate, pass it to your neighbor. If you got a couple of dollars to spare, it is $ Hood Mystic 38. If you're a Cash App, gratitude for those who have it within their heart to donate to the kid. I appreciate all your love and support thus far. Um, Readings are available if that is something that your spirit have been calling you to do. I've been doing a lot of readings, so I'm saying that like I might like I swear I did like 10 readings this week. So I'll be like if I might do some more readings and then no more readings for all of 2025. But I don't know how that shit works. I just do my spiritual work and let everything follow from that point. With all that being said, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you set your intentions, download the worksheet, and just get so close to your soul and understand that it is the yoni, it is the joy of life that you can cultivate within yourself that will be your salvation. And set that intention. What feels most joyous to you? Like, what is the most fulfilling thing that you can do this year? The times for which you've been waiting for this shit to happen is over. The time is now. Make it happen. Know that it's aligned with your highest good. Go for it. And there's nothing stopping you but you. So with all that being said, man, peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's your boy Hood Mystic. This is the Shift Report, and this is where shift happens. I will catch you all on the flip side.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
Clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were...
With the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.